Savior, since thou art born.
Well, welcome. My name is Reverend Mary Huber. I'm the pastor of the Community Chapel of Holistic Healing. We are a non-denominational spiritual fellowship founded in 1977 by Reverend Michelle Luson, a mystic and channel for the multidimensional consciousness that exists in the universe. We welcome you here this evening. And the flow of the evening, I think I've sent out to the participants, but there will be several participating this evening, and I appreciate that. And you need to know that you would not know that is Martha Sandiford and her family singing for us this evening. She shared those MP3 files with us last year, and I'm reusing them this year because they are the only music that comes through very well on our YouTube channel. So thank you for coming. And I'll begin always every meeting and service with our recitation of our faith, hope, and charity affirmations, known to us as the three healers. I believe in the spiritual existence of myself as a perfect image of the divine creator. That is my physical embodiment. I have faith in the guidance of my soul for my balance, my needs, and my opportunities. Outside of myself, there are also perfect images, and nothing can delude my thinking otherwise. The hope affirmation. Acknowledging my faith in the omnipresence of my divinity, I hope for realization, awareness, and acknowledgement of the existence of the great I am within myself. And the charity affirmation. In understanding faith and knowing hope, I pledge my actions, my desires, and my thoughts to the performances of myself on the physical planes of the earth, to honor, to love, and to enlighten all that is a reflection of the divine outside myself, so that my perfection is imaged back to my Creator. So help me God. We will begin this evening with Reverend Kelly Wilk, who will recite the Bible's version of the birth of Jesus by Luke. Reverend.
Thank you, Mary. Welcome, everybody. As Mary said, this is from the book of Luke. In those days, a decree went out from Caesar Augustus that the whole world should be enrolled. This was the first enrollment when Quirinius was governor of Syria. So all went to be enrolled, each to his own town. And Joseph, too, went up from Galilee, from the town of Nazareth to Judea, to the city of David that is called Bethlehem, because he was of the house and lineage of David. He went to be enrolled with Mary, his betrothed, who was with child. While they were there, the time came for her to give birth. And she gave birth to her firstborn son. She wrapped him in swaddling clothes and laid him in a manger, because there was no room for them in the inn. Now there were shepherds in that region, living in the fields and keeping the night watch over their flocks. The angel of the Lord appeared to them, and the glory of the Lord shone all around them, and they were struck with a great fear. The angel said to them, "Do not be afraid, for behold, I proclaim to you good news of great joy that will be for all people. For today in the city of David, a Savior has been born for you, who is Messiah and Lord. And this will be a sign for you. You will find an infant wrapped in swaddling clothes and lying in a manger." And suddenly there was a multitude of the heavenly host with the angel, praising God and saying, "Glory to God in the highest, and on earth peace to those on whom his favor rests.
Thank you, Kelly. There is a tradition with CCWH that Michelle started many, many, many years ago. She recounts the story she calls the actual story of Christmas as was given to her through her channel. And this is the short version of it, but it's very powerful because it includes an awful lot. Christmas actually started 12,000 years ago when the advanced civilization of that time destroyed almost half of the earth. This was created through human greed and jealousy. It created the karmic need to establish atonement, redemption, and transformation as what we call the payback for this egregious act. People had to learn and demonstrate creativity and light. It took humanity about 5,000 years to realize that this process had to start. So about that time, 5,000 years ago, a spiritual community high in the Himalayas began. This allowed new souls to enter and the old souls to return if they were willing for atonement and healing. Both the earth and the human race itself needed healing. The Temple of the Red Dragon, as it was called, had as its symbol a dragon to represent the spiritual power to turn over past destruction. This area of the globe in Tibet had never been affected by the former Great Destruction. It had 3 libraries, a hospital, a pharmacy using natural healing elements, and it lasted a little short of 1,000 years. Toward the end of that era, astronomy and astrology had been developed as a combined science in the East. And using this technology, those who were in the East saw that the second stage of the great many souls involved in the destruction, the recovery plan was about to begin. This was the redemption. But several hundred years prior to this time, a highly spiritual and dedicated community was formed in the hills of Judea. They were known as the Essenes. They were to prepare to be the group through whom the Redeemer was able to be born. So at the right timing, 4 wise men from the East set on the journey to witness what they saw as the birth of the Messiah. One of them went to Herod's palace to deflect attention from their mission, and the other 3 presented their gifts. Incense, to represent that he was of the highest spiritual level. Gold, to secure his upbringing. And myrrh, the universal salve of healing, which had been discovered in the Tibetan community, was to signify that he would be honored as a great healer. "O come all ye faithful" is really the song of the season. Christ is born, redemption has happened, and now is the time for personal transformation, which is the message for every child of light. We need to find it for ourselves because this will bring peace to the world, prevent destruction, and energize goodwill to all mankind. Now, I wanted to speak a little bit about the Essenes and Mother Mary. This channeling came in And it says that her lineage was of the house of David, therefore of royal heritage. She was born in a special community dedicated to be the perfect reflection of the highest dimension of spirit. This developed over several hundred years, as I told you before, prior to the birth of the Redeemer, so that when Mary and Jesus were there to begin the mission that Jesus had, they were well prepared. These were known as the Essenes, were highly spiritually prepared to be in alignment at all times with the highest elements of vibration or frequencies that any group of people could possibly hold, because this is where he was to be born. And because of both Jesus and Mary's high standing in spirit, they had to have knowledge, spiritual knowledge, and training so that they would uplift their lower natures to the very highest level in order to even exist with these two extraordinary souls. This is a singular event in the history of the world. And in a reading given by Dr. La Follette, he continues to say, the fact remains that the initiate of the Piscean age was the one who came to prepare all initiates to understand the way and to know the message that he had to give and that you must give through healing, teaching, and seership. Demonstrate the same spiritual consciousness behind your physical reality so that individually you complete your karmic cycles. It is then that you can manifest the great I am in yourselves as being resurrected, being also lifted without your chains from your earthly flesh into the true awareness of that you are. When the man, Jesus, lived on the earth, nothing in his physical existence was accidental. His soul had created this total pattern, and this was done, as you know, by those initiates who were in the Essene community. They were not just Jews, but they were also Assyrians, Persians, wise men from India, and lamas from Tibet, with their identities superficially disguised. They came together in this ancient community 2,000 years ago to set the stage, the wheel of rebirth, and the physical path for the Atlantean soul who would be born again as the Piscean avatar. So we are now in the period, that the third period and final period that will overturn everything in the world and to be what it needs to be and what it was in the beginning, into a true walk here with the divine presence within ourselves. And I think those of you who have been here for a long time in this community are aware that the fall of man had to do with walking away, taking your attention away from that walk with Christ, walk with the your higher self, and focus more on the world and the pleasures of the world, and only those things that were relevant to the world. So they brought their consciousness down and away from who they truly were, way back. And as those errors continue to compound themselves from that time, and it wreaked havoc throughout that ancient civilization that is not documented anywhere physically on the earth, the ancient civilization of Atlantis. as it worked its way through, it culminated in this terrible need for power, the need to dominate, the jealousy and the greed that was so rampant there, that it turned people among them against each other to try to be the top person, to get the most physical things. And the kind of technology that they had in that civilization that they were granted to be able to use was much more powerful than we have yet today, at least that we are aware of, that we have today. And that civilization turned all of that weaponry against itself, and it took down literally half of the world into complete destruction. They had what Michelle said, anti-gravity, they had antimatter, they had all of those techniques, and the antimatter, they turned out to be the complete destruction of their civilization. And no remnants are left except a few stone steps that could be found under the Atlantic Ocean, as Casey said, around the islands of Bimini. And I think they've already been found to exist. But the rest of the everything else from that society will not be found because of their complete destruction. But when it took that half of the world down, it affected the entire world. It was a terrible tragedy that human beings had turned to this so far away from God. Then the only thing that could be done to redeem this was to go through these periods where we would have to make up for all of that. Now, not every soul who is here on the planet today, I presume, are all from Atlantis, but we've been all tracking those who have been in Atlantis to redeem that ourselves, anything we did that we needed to do to overcome from that time, but also to bring our own now developed spirituality back to help to rescue the world. And this was a program that a lot of us went through in many societies throughout time to get to this point. Most of us have been told and hear that we have, as a group, been to ancient Egypt and were in that position of going through the priesthoods there over time, so that many of us, as Edgar Casey had, or not, excuse me, as Dr. La Follette had said at one point, he said the Egyptians are back, so that we who were souls in that Egyptian time bring back those kind of developments that they had in order to overcome, and subsequent societies in different parts of the world had their own special schools of initiation. And we were all being trained in many souls and many places on the planet in these special places over time as we reincarnated, so that we would come to this point where we are now at the period where redemption is finished, the period now of transformation. So it is up to each of us to understand that going to the Christ within is the only place we can possibly be if we are to transform. We have found our purpose and meaning in life, and those who haven't found that yet, we need to encourage them. And we have to help them get to their Christ consciousness, because it is only through the Christ consciousness that all those who are going to go on and elevate themselves into a completely different kind of world will have to have the Christ consciousness in them. We will be treating each other with dignity and respect, and we will be involved in freedom and with the responsibilities that freedom brings in its wake. We have to have responsibility, because freedom has to be nurtured and all of the time. And there is daily work that goes into learning that our daily accomplishments are very important, and our overcoming of any of our lower tendencies are very important. We restore values and identity with the divine nature. And we know that everyone has something very vital that they bring into the world. And everyone needs to be aware of that, as far as those who are going to awaken, those who are awakening need to continue to understand that your place in this world is not by accident. It's by higher design. And we are all individually wired in a particular way to bring something in to the world, to bless the world and to elevate it. So we come to master our environment. We come to master those things that have tripped us up in the past. And we come to teach and help those who are still struggling with those particular elements to get over them, to get rid of the strings, the attachments that pull them back into a very different place. We have to learn, each of us, that we must think for ourselves, because we have been told many, many times, all our answers lie within us. It doesn't lie outside. We learn what the spiritual principles are. We learn to know what the Christ principles are within us. We know what high values and standards are, and we measure ourselves by those high standards and pursue that every day. Pursue to give ourselves over to the will of God. So at this blessed time, we are given that opportunity every year to renew this commitment, to renew our dedication to Christ. It is a blessing that the world enjoys. And when they grab that blessing as it should be grabbed, and taking care of our each other as well, we are coming up. We are going into another whole different life as it's developing. No matter what you see the world as right now, it's still going according to what I am hearing from Spirit. It's still going in the right direction, but we have to hold our own self identity up as being of the Christ and behaving that way and emanating that principle through us all the time, so that we are the co-creators with those in spirit who are leading the way and helping us all get there. So we will go now to I guess our traditional candle service would be what we would have if we were physically present in a church. But I would like you to imagine that we are there in a beautiful cathedral, a beautiful church of your choice, and you're taking your candle down to the altar to light it, to bring back, and while we are listening to this beautiful voice of Martha Sandifer and her family.
Still the night. O come, Emmanuel, and ransom captive Israel that mourns in lonely exile here, until the Son of God appear. Rejoice, rejoice, Emmanuel shall come to thee, O Israel. O come, thou wisdom from on high, and order all things far and nigh. To us the path of knowledge show, and cause us in her ways to go. Rejoice, rejoice, Emmanuel shall come to thee, O Israel.
Thank you very much for listening to that. And we will now go to Carol Heckman. Carol Ann Heckman is a longtime member of CCWH, and she has a poem to share with us. Carol.
Good evening, everyone. It is a privilege to share this poem for transition during times of great change. The poem is entitled Loving Passage. Love speaks your name. Love holds your hand. Safe passage, dear, safe passage. Across the dark, love brings you home. Safe passage, cherished one. Release all fears as light appears. Your freedom has been won. Rejoice and praise whatever you face, for love will carry you. Love will carry you. Love will carry you through. Thank you.
Thank you, Carol. It's beautiful. And now we'll have Reverend Gloria Kauser, who will share her insights at this time.
Thank you, Mary Carol. I chose to focus on the Christ consciousness that is highlighted at this time of year, and sometimes people feel that the Christ consciousness has gone out of what we call Christmas in favor of a more materialistic focus. But as I reflected on it and began a little looking into it, from our practices as a community, a spiritual community, and from the teachings of Michelle Luson over the years to make us aware. My first insight is that Christ consciousness is a state of awareness in which we realize our divinity, our oneness with God. It is our birthright as a child of the Creator, and it's available to all who are open and willing to seek the omnipotent higher power that connects all beings in the universe. Christ consciousness connects all beings in the universe. It does not relate solely to the personality of Jesus or of specific cosmic beings or world teachers, as it has been noted in some of the readings by Michelle that there were other Christs noted and spoken to over time. Nor is Christ consciousness attained only through Christianity or the religion of Christianity or other religions. For spiritual awakening comes through many means and sometimes without religion at all. Another insight, how you achieve or experience Christ consciousness is not as important as discovering your true nature and innermost existence. As a soul or higher self, we have each incarnated with a mind, emotions, and physical body. The spiritual awakening process gradually dispels the illusion of our separateness by uncovering the truth that individually and collectively our lives are holistic. And this was a major theme that was taught by Dr. La Follette, Michelle. Our world as a planet is actually a sentient being that functions inwardly and outwardly as one unity intertwined. Third insight reflected. It is the love of God that makes the world go around. For God is love, omnipresent, omniscient, all wise, transfiguring, all healing, and all powerful, and certainly eternal and everlasting. This love of God dwells in each of us. Thus, by opening our hearts to practice love in its many forms, our spirits start to resonate with the frequencies of Christ consciousness. We are in a holy season that presents us with several opportunities to join our light with that of our spiritual brothers and sisters here on earth and with those throughout the heavens in the cosmos. Some of these I'll just mention. Certainly today we formed our own little group, the Red Dragons group, to meditate on behalf of the needs in the world as it relates to the Washington, D.C. area and the Washington government. The last full moon in December for 2024 took place on December 15th in the sign of Gemini, with Mercury going retrograde the same day. And tomorrow at 4:21 a.m. comes the winter solstice, marking the start of winter and the longest night of the year. The sun will be entering Capricorn and the moon will be transiting Virgo. So the energies have to do with the earth. In the coming week, Christmas Eve starts on Tuesday. Both Christmas Day and Hanukkah will extend for 8 days, occurring on starting on the 25th. And then Kwanzaa, another celebration, starts on December 26th, the day after Christmas. And more, there will be a feast of what's called the Three Kings, if you've ever been through the Caribbean, that is celebrated and will occur in the early part of January. That's plenty of opportunities for us to join in through our prayers and our meditation, or just through celebration and festivities with loved ones, or those new individuals we may be blessed to meet and encounter with our families. And as we do so, to realize that we are all one. They are reflections of who we are, and we are together externalizing the oneness. To accompany our light service meditation this evening, I'd like to introduce a practice that can go along with candle lighting, because sometimes you won't have a candle to light, and there is a way that has been practiced in the East that helps to stimulate the life force, the energy, the prana within us without too much complication. I'm talking about mudras, and I've selected the lotus mudra. Mudra is a finger, a hand form of yoga, so you don't have to know how to sort of twist into different shapes with your body. It's purely done with the hands. Some of you may recall, if you've had readings with Michelle, that she used frequently as she was shifting her consciousness into the source. And Dr. La Follette was coming, and she used mudras, oftentimes like so, as she spoke, because this also had the same effect. Now, what is the lotus mudra? The lotus mudra stands for inner peace, triumph over obstacles and adversity, which certainly would pertain today. It stands for purity, for beauty, also for spiritual awakening and enlightenment and faithfulness. So the lotus mudra brings forth compassion and loving kindness, and it also represents positive transformation. Think of a lotus plant that dissolves the layers of muck and mud until its true nature, its true beauty comes to the fore. The nature in an allegoric sense of our higher self coming to the fore. So without further explanation, I'm going to demonstrate to you how to do the lotus mudra. Okay, if you put your hands in a prayer position at your heart, what you want to be sure to do is to have the pinkies touching and the thumbs touching together. And as you breathe in, you hold those two fingers together while the other fingers open up like a lotus. And you breathe in, usually to the count of 4 or 5 or 6. And you hold that position and then you breathe out. So let's try to do this together. Again, the pinkies together, the thumbs together, and we open the lotus at the heart level and breathe in, hold, and breathe out. And if you relax into it and allow yourself the patience of stilling yourself while you do this, you'll begin to feel the energies move within you. It stimulates the prana within our life force, and you can even feel the energy moving up and down, and even a column of light, so to speak, down from the upper level to the base of your palms. So you touch the pinkies together, the thumbs together, extend the other 6 fingers toward the sky, and imagine your hands are forming that lotus in front of your heart. So you can practice tonight as we do the meditation, but even without practicing tonight, try it oftentimes and see how it might calm the energies around you and within you, and you might feel the energies rise up along with the light within. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Gloria. That was lovely. And certainly we'll be doing that. And it is time for our meditation. And there is a lotus you can emanate. And we will have our meditation this evening by Reverend Brenda McGrath.
Thank you, Mary. And thank you, Gloria, for that wonderful mudra. So tonight's meditation is going to be a Christmas candle meditation and healing using candle gazing. If you have your candles with you, get comfortable with a safely placed candle before you. Take a few deep breaths to settle in. allowing your eyes to rest gently on the flame. If you don't have a candle, you can imagine a candle at your third eye as you look up between your closed eyes between your eyebrows. So as you breathe deeply, focus on the gentle flicker of the candle flame, like the Star of Bethlehem that shone so brightly in the night sky. This flame serves as your beacon of light. Watch how it dances. Watch how it flickers and glows with unwavering brightness. Just as that celestial star guided the wise men on their sacred journey. Imagine yourself under that vast desert sky of ancient times. The air is cool and crisp. The night is deep and dark. But above you shines a star of extraordinary brilliance. And like the wise men, you too are seeking something profound, something that calls to your heart. Take a moment to feel yourself as part of this time period, this historical time period when Christ was born. As you continue to gaze at your candle flame, let it represent that guiding star. With each inhale, draw in its light. With each exhale, let go of any obstacles on your path. Just as the wise men trusted their celestial guide through unknown lands, trust that your inner light is guiding you forward. Now imagine the moment of discovery, that profound joy when the wise men finally reached their destination. Imagine after their long journey, they found the child they had sought, the embodiment of divine love in human form. Feel that surge of joy, that deep knowing that their faith had led them true. Let that same joy fill your heart as you gaze into your candle's flame. Consider how this single birth, marked by a star, would transform the whole world. Like ripples spreading from a stone dropped in still water, this moment would touch countless lives across time and space. Just as your candle flame illuminates the space around it, that night in Bethlehem began spreading light through all the ages. Just know that the same light that guided the wise men still shines today in the stars above, in the flame before you, and in your own heart. Let it guide you, illuminate your path, and fill you with hope and purpose. Take a moment to see where this light in the sky, in the candle, and in your heart is leading you. Tune into the direction, guidance, and messages Spirit has for you. It may be guiding you towards your purpose. It may just be a heads up or a vision of a brighter future. Ask, what can I do? How can I help? Sometimes it takes us asking the question to start the flow of information. If you don't have a specific question in mind, you can simply ask, how can I help further the kingdom of God? Or what do I need to know today? Or what will help me fulfill my purpose? Or maybe bring joy to myself and others. Now we're going to ask for a healing. Ask your guides, teachers, and healers to give you a healing. You can call upon the Ascended Masters, the Archangels. It can be a general, overall, or health, or specific healing for an area, a situation in life, or even the healing of the planet. See yourself in a bubble of brilliant white light as you're protected during this healing session. See or feel the healing energy going to that place that you have asked. Notice the color of the light or energy of the healing that's being transmitted now. Take a moment to let it course through you. So that you are completely healed through and through. Remember this color or the feeling of the healing energy so you can hold on to it throughout the week. Keep that healing going. And take a few final deep breaths, feeling gratitude for this moment of healing and peace and connection. When you're ready, you can come back to your seat, to the room, to your surroundings. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. Maybe gently blow out your candle, knowing that its light, like the Star of Bethlehem, remains as a guide in your heart. Next, we're going to hear our prayers for peace. And then we'll play our closing song.
Divine Creator, we ask that the light of highest awareness fill the minds and hearts of those who are open to your light. We ask that they be assisted and strengthened in their resolve to achieve peace using peaceful means. May their minds, their hearts, and their actions reflect the divine will to good for all. Comfort, strengthen, and support those who are in a difficult situation in their mind, body, or spirit. Bring confidence to them that your divine hand is at work in their life. Amen.
And we'll close with our closing circle song as we imagine ourselves circled together, holding hands.
Thank you very much, everyone. And in this season of giving, I hope that you will consider going to our website at ccwh.com and making a donation. Our PayPal button is there. Thank you.